vibes are high and the wisdom is real.
We're two black mature ravers who are married and here to talk about all things rave culture, like sustainability, wellness, and keeping the energy alive no matter your age.
From festivals to fashion, mindsets to music, relationships to rave aftercare, we've got you covered.
So whether you're an OG raver in the scene or just discovering the magic, join the Vibe Tribe and let's keep the rhythm going.
We're here, thinking caps on, and I think it's about time we talk a little bit more about being Plur at a rave. We usually have that at the end of our episodes dedicated towards a Plur lesson, but I think in light of like the climate, let's call it, and all the feedback that I've heard from ravers we've met here, ravers we've met in Vegas, ravers we've met on the East Coast, they're all talking about how the scene has changed. What do you think that means?
Wow. Well, for me, in the time that I've been raving, I can definitely say, yes, the scene has changed. But I think the reason why it changed so much was because the rave scene exploded.
Because the music
The music is really good, and now it's more mainstream. So what happens is that you got a lot of people, like the culture didn't grow as fast as the music did.
That's fair.
So
The Plur culture.
the Plur culture.
Okay.
So
People hear it and then just bring their own lifestyle to the rave.
right, people just come for the music. Where ravers, when you were brought in to raving, you had a rave guide, whether you realized it or not.
Okay.
And they taught you about the music, but they also taught you about what Plur was.
True.
They taught you about,
How to conduct yourself.
It's
It's kind of like going to like a hippie event and then like you're not a hippie. And
Right.
you're just conducting yourself however you care about, however you care to me, and your attitudes are counter the culture of the type of event you're at.
Exactly. And, also I think a lot of times, we just witnessed this last weekend. People are calling rave events raves that are not raves. They're just not.
No.
So I think that's a huge thing. People think rave is like, oh, it's a party and that's a rave. That's not a rave.
But don't you agree that there's a broad spectrum of raves? For instance, like there's a Burning Man, which is more, I don't want to say spiritual, I don't want to say like that, but it's more like grassroots
I think
type of vibe. And then you have like a rave like EDC, which is super popular now. And I know it used to have a Plur crowd, but it's more of a popular thing now.
I think here's the thing about real raves. It's the culture. And so it's not the style of music, it's the culture of the people that are there. So meaning that, whether you listen to a hardstyle, a dubstep, or you headbanger, or you listen to trance, the Plur side was always there. It was always love. It was always respect. It was always peace. It was all of these things. Unity was always there.
There's so many other musical cultures that are that way. So how did this culture get so far off?
Because this culture started with people they wasn't there for the scene. It's not about the scene. They're not
Kind of cultural outcasts.
Yeah,
They could,
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is where they can come
it got
and they
crazy.
can be themselves. This is where, you wanted to wear the crazy outfits, whether it was golf or whether it was the skaters or whether it was whoever, that just wanted to be able to get along and have a peaceful time.
Yeah.
A lot of this, we talk about it, especially when it comes to house music. That was a big part of the gay scene, and people just want to be able to come and have a good time without the threat of being ridiculed or threatened or anything like that.
So it sounds like it's the popular culture that is trying to come into the spaces that are not for popular culture. That's what it sounds.
And that's
I don't know if that's what it is or not.
I believe more so because it's become so mainstream. And, this is, obviously when you want something to be successful, and EDC is wildly successful, and it's a great way to bring people together. But when you bring that many people together and that many different mindsets, a lot of the Plur is lost, because most of those people had the same kind of mindset. Most of those people were very, hey, you do you.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't want to offend you. I don't, you do what you do. I'm going to do what I do. We're going
Let's just have a good time.
Now you see a lot of people and they come in this judgment, and it's, I'm here for the scene.
Yeah.
I'm here so I can get my views up. I'm here for all of these different reasons.
That very pretentious.
Exactly. And that wasn't what it was supposed to be. And I think that's why you hear a lot about the culture itself. And believe me, I believe that there are still a lot of Plur people out there at all of these events. It's just that it's not as recognizable now, where we had, we do an event and we got 50,000 Plur people there. We still got 50,000 Plur people there. We just got 150,000 that are just regular people.
Right.
And that's not good or bad. It's just,
I don't know. I could say in the few years that I've been raving, I do see a slight difference, and maybe it's because of the type of raves that we go to, but I have noticed a very self-centered attitude. I guess that's the way I could put it, in terms of like where people are located when they're having a good time. To me, the best people with the best vibe are actually in the back. They got toys and fidget things and whatever.
That's because,
or they're just sitting down, or they're just lost completely in the music, having a great time, and they just want space to be able to do what they do. And I feel like for me personally, I find that to be like the better spot. And really, what are we looking at? Unless the stage is phenomenal, and if the stage is phenomenal, usually you can see it from the back anyways. Right? And they've got cameras, like, focus right on the DJ. What are we watching the DJ for? He's not doing nothing but this. Like, so go have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't get the whole need to crowd other people's space or be unnecessarily rude. But anyhow, I digress.
No, I do understand at a different event, we experienced that where.
But I feel like we experience it every rave, where people just don't respect the fact that somebody is enjoying themselves and they have personal space.
Right. And I think, like I said, that's all part of it. So as we do this one, we talk about these events. All of that part is there for these different events. It's we want to give you space. We want you to be you, allow you to be you.
I know the only rave where I felt like people respect other people's personal space was Dream State. When we went to Dream State, like I was doing my lost in the music thing and having a great time, and people were just like, okay, yeah. And like, they'll give you the space to go just completely enjoy and be like, cool, do you, boo? And I love that.
True, that is definitely the Dream State. But they also is of the ones that we've been to.
True.
That's probably the most one that is Plur.
Yeah.
The most Plur rave.
So I know that you came up with a list of different raves that are Plur, and would love to share that with you. We're going to definitely put the list below with the description, but go ahead and run through that list of festivals that you found.
Just a quick list. Like the Boom Festival, that's in Portugal. Is very sustainable. They have a bunch of different events that'll be going on while you're there.
It's art and psychedelic centered. Just
yes.
FYI.
So
it's art and psychedelic.
It's very earthbound. Matter of fact, most of these are very earthbound and focus on sustainability along with music, art, culture, and the Plur.
And by sustainability, we mean considering the impact of your raving or your enjoyment on the people in this world, not just the people around us, but the people in this world. So that means what kind of disposables are we using? Are we using things that break down in nature? Can we swap rave gear? Because why are we using stuff that we're going to wear to one event and then we're going to throw it in a landfill and it may have came from China and it's really got a lot of toxins. No offense, China. Next festival we're going to talk about is the Fusion Festival in Germany.
Yeah. This is described as the European Burning Man.
Oh, that sounds.
You know, so it combines all styles of electronic music, dance, and culture. It gives you so many different things just to kind of, once again, experience.
Next is I like this one. I think it's called the Negi in Uganda.
Uganda.
There are a lot of raves in Africa or events in Africa that we've watched on YouTube, and they all look so interesting. But this one, it celebrates African music and culture. It focuses on electronic music, but they do kind of gear into other types of music. And they encapsulate the mission of uniting people through music.
Yes. You know, the next one is Earth Dance Global, which means they do a series of events around the world with over 50 countries that they combine everything into with a culmination of Peace Day at September 21st. They include a global synchronized affirmation of peace.
Doesn't that one focus on social justice as well?
It's promoting peace and social justice through music and dance. So once again, it's not about just being part. It's about what we can do to affect change around the world.
Yeah. It's
not just in
not
your
just
local
the
community.
vibe right now. It's the general. What are we doing here? Like
Exactly.
I love that.
So it's a little bit deeper,
Yeah,
you know.
a little deeper.
So I like that as well. And then we have the Rainbow Gathering, which is an annual non-commercial gathering setting in nature. So it's going to focus on community and spiritual connections. It's fostering inclusion, egalitarian. I always mess up. Egalitarian communities.
Free from social constraints.
Okay, so basically, we're going to be out in nature, and we're going to be focusing on connections with one another and how we affect each other in this world that we move through. Of course, the music is going to be there, dancing is going to be there, and building and forming connections.
Yeah, it sounds like most of these are going to be pretty outdoorsy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like you just in a tent, but it seems like they're geared towards one with nature.
Nature.
Like you're gonna
Being
spend
one
some
with
time.
nature.
You're gonna spend some time with nature.
Exactly. You know, you're going to get to know nature, and nature going to probably get to know you too. So
Get you a camper.
if a camper is available, otherwise get you some great walking shoes. You know, get you some shoes that, you know, you can spend a couple hours in on your feet. You know, we have a couple suggestions later, you know, so you'll be able to find that on one of our sites or one of the podcasts. We talk about that. But yeah, these are some of the events.
If there are other events that you are interested in going to around the world that are Plur, please let us know. We would love to talk about them because we want to lean more into the Plur lifestyle
in the community.
and we want to enjoy raves in a Plur way, and really for me, it's a sustainable way. I really don't like the waste that goes along with raving. So
Yes,
let us
you know. So reach out to us. Let us know.
thanks
All
for
right.
joining us. We'll talk to you next time.
Peace.